Hey guys, what's up? It's Stephanie. I am back and I have another video for you guys this week. And the topic of the video today is going to be about how do you know that the PA program you're applying to or you've been accepted to is the right program for you. So this is a question that I came across from a lot of students that are applying to PA school, is how to choose the right program for you that you feel that will fit you or that you'll fit in, that is a great fit for you. So how do you choose that program? So if you're interested, I'm going to talk about that soon.
Dereta, dereta, dereta. Stop, stop, stop. Okay, okay. Up, 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 up. Don't move. Asparagus.
All right, so first step is that when you're applying to PA schools, so overall there are, I believe from what I read, there are 236 PA schools in the US, so 236 PA schools. So you have a lot of schools to choose from. And of course, depending on what school you choose, you may choose it because it is in state, you don't want to pay out-of-state tuition, or you just don't want to leave the state that you live in. Another one would be that you just want to stay in the city where you live in because you may have family, etc. Or for those individuals who just want to attend PA school, and they don't really mind going out of state or paying out of state tuition. It really depends on you. So that's why it's really important that when you are applying to PA schools, to really take that into consideration. And not only that, also take into consideration where the school is located, because you are going to be living there the next 2 to 3 years, and you want to make sure that the area that you're living is probably a safe area. And especially if you're female like myself, it's really important. And then on top of that, you want to also make sure that you can see yourself living in that area. So for example, for myself, I dislike areas that are cold. Being that I've lived in Texas the past 10 plus years, I've really been accustomed to that warm, hot weather, and I really like it. So that's why when I applied to PA schools, I think I only applied to 1 or 2 schools that were considered cold areas, because I really wanted to stay in areas that were hot. Specifically, I also wanted to stay in the state of Texas so I can avoid that out-of-state tuition that tends to be more expensive. And talking about expenses, you also want to look at how expensive the program is. I know some of the schools that I had applied to, some of them were pretty expensive. Also, when adding schools to my application list, as some of you may know, I applied to 15 schools the second time that I applied. I was actually going to apply to more. I had about 19 or 20 schools on my list, but I slowly started taking them off because of the location, like I said, and also because of how expensive they were. Some of them were about $100,000 plus for the entire program, and I just didn't want to spend that much money on the program, while there were schools in the state of Texas where I live that were more than or less than half of what some of the schools that I was applying to, the cost was. So that's another thing to also take in consideration, is the expense. Some of you may want to attend private universities, which is awesome, but also have in mind how much you're going to take out in loans. And also, some of the loans that I got offered, they start accruing interest from the moment you take out the loan. So also take that into consideration, especially if it is a very expensive school. Take that into consideration, that you will start accruing interest from the moment you take out the loan, unless you have money saved up for PA school, which is awesome. But if you don't, like myself, then you want to make sure that you choose a school that is affordable, which is what I did. So expenses, the location, also the mission and the goals of the school. That was one of the things that I did when I was researching the programs that I applied to. I made sure that they had the same mission and goals as I did. I want to be able to work in areas that are underserved, and the school that I applied to does that. I want to be able to work with Hispanic communities. The school that I got accepted does that. And I really liked that about my program, and that's why the schools that I applied to, I made sure that they had these missions and goals. And I had gotten 4 interviews the second time that I applied, and I felt that the school that I got accepted to was a school that I wanted to attend. So I'm very happy that I chose that program because it's a fantastic program. Like I said, the tuition is very low. It's one of the schools in the state of Texas that has the lowest tuition, so it's very inexpensive. And on top of that, they offer a lot of scholarships specifically to minority students, Hispanic first-generation students. So that's another reason why I applied to the school, because it's fantastic. And then on top of that, the location where it's located, the majority of the population is underserved. For a family of 4 or 5, they have estimated an annual income of about $30,000 to $35,000. So that is poverty. So the majority of them are underserved. The population is underserved. The majority of the population is Hispanic and they don't speak English. So these were the type of populations I wanted to work with. So this is why I felt that the program that I got accepted into met all the criteria that I was looking for. Also, the staff members, the professors, they are all fantastic. My program director is extremely approachable and accessible. He's just an amazing individual who really has your best interest, and he is there for you. So he is just a fantastic individual. And this is one of the reasons also why I applied to my program. It's just for the professors that they have. Everybody's just extremely helpful. So that's why when choosing your program, this is all the things that you want to look into. And that's why I really recommend that those of you who are applying to PA school to apply to as many schools as your budget allows you to. That way, in the end, if you have several acceptances, you're able to choose from the schools. Rather, if you only apply to 4 or 5 schools, you say you get rejected from 4 and you only got accepted from 1, well, you have that choice to either attend that school, whether it wasn't on your priority list, or to apply again. But if you apply to 15 schools or more schools, 10 or more schools, for example, then, and say you get about 5 acceptances, then you are able to choose what school you want to attend to. So that's why I also recommend you to apply to as many schools as your budget allows you. That way you are able to choose what program you feel is appropriate for you. So this is just my advice, is to look at these things. Look at of course, the most important one is to look at their tuition rate, see how expensive the school is. Because think about it, how long are you going to be working to pay off that loan once you're out of PA school? Unless you get scholarships, which is fantastic, and I really recommend that. But, if you don't, then how long is it going to take you to pay that tuition back, where you are going to graduate with this physician assistant degree, and you can get that degree from other universities that have a lower tuition rate. And then another thing to also take into consideration is its location, where it's located, whether you can see yourself living there for the next 2 or 3 years. And if you have a family, which is the case for some of the students that are in my program, they have families. Also take that into consideration, whether you are planning to take your husband, your wife, your children, etc., whether you can see yourself living in that area with them, and whether you consider it safe for your family also. Also weather, take into consideration. If you can live in an area that has that type of weather, if it's snowing all the time, if it's raining, if it's hot, etc., take that into consideration. And then also take into consideration the school's mission and goals. So also take that into consideration, whether they have the same interests as you do. Also take that into consideration, because at the end, if you will be choosing the program that you get accepted to, unless, like I said, you only get accepted from a few, then in that case you really don't have a choice. And that's why, like I said, I recommend you to apply to as many schools as you can. But if you have the choice, look, research, and that way when you're attending the program, you feel fantastic. Like myself, I love my program. I love all the students in my program. I love the faculty. I love the university. I love it. I love the area where it's located, the population there. I just love it. And I thought it was a perfect fit for me and it's just, I'm happy. I love the program. So, and my program really engulfs that Hispanic culture. They make sure they include it in the program. The first 2 weeks of my program, they dedicated to medical Spanish, which I thought was fantastic. So we were able to learn medical Spanish. Although I already am fluent, I still learned a lot. So, you know, little things like that, they really, really, for example, for me, made my program even better. Alright guys, so I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys have any comments, any suggestions for new topics you guys would like me to discuss in future videos, make sure you email me or comment below and I will make those videos. Also get in contact with you as soon as I can. I am in PA school, so I know I'm going to be very busy, but I will be in contact with you guys as soon as I can. Alright guys, thanks for watching my videos and I'll talk to you guys soon.